For Wednesday, March 21st, lesson 55, 52, 53, and 54 and the test are all late, so we'll be adding Jim and Frankie to the classroom so they can help me to get things turned in and turned in on time. So anyway, I don't see that they're not uploaded. They're not ready to be graded, so they're late. And then my promise to you was that you've got to get an A in here, so that means you've got to learn the material. Okay, lesson 55, complex fractions, the division rule. The division rule can be explained in 3 steps. In the first step, horizontally copying the vertical problem to a horizontal problem, then multiplying that, and then flipping the reciprocal. Okay, so it's copy, multiply, and flip. All right, so copy A over, well, here it is. It's A over B multiplied by C equals A over B multiplied by C over 1. Okay, so it's written vertically. And then we're going to put A over B times C over 1. These are complex fractions. It's basically a fraction within a fraction. So A over B times 1 over C, when you flip it, becomes A over BC. Here's an example of a complex fraction. A times A plus X over XB. 9 over X. B over A plus X. Now we're going to horizontally copy it to A over X multiplied by B over AX times 9 over X times A plus X over B. Because on the denominator you have B over A plus X. And on the numerator you have AX or AB. A times A equals A squared, and A times X equals XB. So that's where you end up getting that. And if, you have to copy all this down as well as this note, if A or B or C up here were ever equal to 0, our answer would be undefined. We can never divide by 0. Okay, lesson 55, introduction. Turn your page open to 224. I need you to follow along with your book. Example of the denominator, numerator, same quantity rule. We already know what this is. It's in this example, 5 times 2 divided by 2 equals 5. The same thing you started with. In this rule, what you start with is what you end with. And the deal with this rule is that you can multiply by the same thing on top and bottom, on the numerator and on the denominator, and the answer will be what you started with. That is the dim-nom same quantity rule, since I can't talk. Okay, here's another complex fraction. A over B multiplied by C over D. Well, we're first going to put them horizontally, and we're going to copy down A over B times D over C, because the denominator is D over C, and we're going to flip it, this reciprocal, until it says D over C, and it's going to equal, the D's are going to cancel, equal 1, and then we do the top by D over C as well. And then we get AD over BC over 1. AD over BC is your final answer, because anything times 1 equals that anything that you're dividing by. Okay, so we multiply by the reciprocal of the denominator in these problems. Here is practice, page 552, number 2. We're going to simplify 1 over c multiplied by 1 over b. 1 over c times b over 1 cancels. When you cancel the two ones, you just have b and c over 1. The 1b and the b1 cancel to just 1. So bc multiplied by 1 equals bc. We multiply by the reciprocal of the denominator, and we drop the 1s, because anything divided by that is that. Okay, now over here, we have number 3, a equals a over 1 multiplied by 1 over c. You're gonna flip the reciprocal c over 1. Then you're gonna do a. You're gonna do a over 1 times c over 1, and that's gonna equal ac over 1. We drop that 1, and it becomes negative ac. On 4, we have a over x times a plus x over b, which equals a times a plus x over xb. A times a plus x over xb is your answer. And b over a plus x times a plus x over b, the denominator b and b cancels to 1. So you've got your 1 underneath it, and you drop it like we have the others. And m over n equals m over y, n x equals my over nx over 1, and we drop the 1 again. Now, this is a rule you need to write down as well, that rule is how we are able to manipulate algebra and how we're able to do things in algebra. The one way that we're able to gain manipulations over algebra is, number 1, the denominator numerator same quantity rule. 2, we multiply the multiplicative inverse equality, and then 3, the additive property of equality. Those are the 3 rules in which we can manipulate our fractions in algebra. Now turn to page 226 for practice. It says to simplify x over m times 1 over d times x over md equals x over md. 1 over d flipped to d over 1 is going to cancel out to 1. D over d is 1. So we just leave it out of the answer. Now on b, it says 1 over r times 2 over 1, no, it's z over 1, equals 1 z over r1, which equals z over r, because the z over 1 and the numerator cancel us out to 1, and of course you just leave it out of the answer again. C, n over a times d over b, nd over ab, nd over ab. You drop that 1 that cancels out at the bottom, and letter D here at the end, it's got w over 1, w plus c over 1 equals w times w plus c. And it's divided by 1 over w plus c. We flip it, it becomes 1. So the answer just is w times w plus c.